Today we are going to discuss financial systems. Before we do that, I want to review last week's action list. Financial systems, we're going to cover gaining some perspective on how to run your business like a business, focusing on the next level of where you are financially, financial game plans, tips, and talk about personal and business budgeting. So let's gain some perspective. We now turn to our workbooks. If your bank account is empty, you just don't have any money right now, that is a problem. Obviously, that's a problem. If your bank account is empty and you don't have a solid plan to correct it, that's what we call a crisis. And if your bank account is empty and you possess the knowledge and skills to correct it quickly, that's a problem about to be solved. And I think that's why a lot of folks are here. We want to get really skilled at creating significant income on a monthly basis in any market, because that opportunity is definitely here. So where do you want to live? In a problem, in a crisis, or in the solution? And you've all been proactive to be here. You are already in the solution, so that should give you a lot of comfort and good feeling that you're being proactive to move yourself to a new level of income and skills. Consistent cash flow is not part of the real estate sales business typically. Most agents are either a licensee, do 1 or 2 deals a year, or the quote-unquote regular real estate agent that does 3 to 5 transactions a year, and those people see significant swings in income. It's peaks and valleys, and they tend to rack up credit cards in the valleys and then spend too much money in the peaks, and it's a vicious circle. So unless you learn and take action to achieve the thriving agent level or the superstar level, you're going to suffer that. But unlimited income and freedom is definitely possible. Not only that, in next week's training, which is one of the really interesting kind of wrapping it all together called Accelerate, I'm going to share with you what's going on with the top 25 agents in the United States. Some of them are making $10 million a year. Some of them live within 10 miles of here. It's amazing what you can do once you get to that level, because then you start delegating your systems and you're just doing deals. Contracts are coming in, contracts are going out, you're a deal maker all day long. As soon as the deal's done, you shove that off to your staff, they do all the paperwork. That's when the business becomes fun and you're making income like a professional athlete. So we'll look at that a little bit next week. Assessing where you are right now is very important. And we've talked about basically 4 levels: survival, stability, success, and self-reliance. Survival, stability, success, and self-reliance. The message here is, while you see the big picture of where you want to go, if you've done your thriving vision, your outcome visioning, and your goals for the next 3 years, or even beyond that, that you have to assess where you are realistically right now, and then set your sights to move just to the next level. So if you're having trouble surviving financially, you're not really working on self-reliance. You're working on handling survival and then moving to stability. If you're stable, you got enough income right now, you want to enhance that to the level of success. So it's one step at a time. And the key perspective is prioritizing marketing and prospecting even when you start to experience success. What I want to communicate to you guys really clearly is, don't fall into the trap. You start doing deals, you have some escrows going, you slack off in marketing and prospecting, because what happens is you will start to experience this very jagged flow of income. You do marketing and prospecting, boom, I've got these deals going, then you stop marketing and prospecting, deals are closing, and then you're dry again. So what the superstar understands And that's how these people become superstars, is they're always doing deals. Doing deals to them is, they're doing marketing and prospecting in the early parts of their careers until the flow of referrals is so significant that it starts to grow geometrically of itself. And then they're just doing the deals. But in your early stages of your career, I mean in the first few years, marketing and prospecting is always your priority. You got to get this. It takes 90 to 120 referral leads to close about 30 transactions, 3 to 4 to 1. Somebody refers you a buyer, they don't qualify. Somebody refers you a seller, they decided not to sell. You've been all through this before. You understand the stories. Some of these referrals are basically 2 years out before a deal is there. You still work them. So you've got to prioritize marketing and prospecting to get your pipeline really loaded to start getting referrals that close. Does everybody know the old child's tale of the tortoise and the hare? Who wins?
Slow and steady wins the race.
That's right, slow and steady. Anybody not know this story as a child? Yeah, so obviously the rabbit, he falls asleep under a tree? I forget what it is exactly. I think he falls asleep under a tree, and the tortoise just keeps going, and the rabbit wakes up, and the tortoise is right by the goal line. So marketing, prospecting, slow and steady, every day, a little bit each day. But don't let it fail. Don't fall down on marketing, prospecting. That's who wins this race, is the tortoise understands marketing, prospecting is the key to success. Every day, improve a little bit. Practice your skills, which are the dialogues, your listing presentation. Fine-tune your systems, learning the CRM, getting your buyer letter systems going, many other systems. Do your outbound actions. Obviously now with the CRM being very sophisticated, helping you set goals and game plans each day and each week, you've got things to try to achieve right in front of you. Always be moving forward and you will succeed. So let's talk about some game plans. If you're in the survival mode, here is your game plan. What is the survival mode? That means paying your mortgage or your rent, your car payment, basically all of your bills, right? Everybody wants to get all of their bills paid so they're not under pressure. That's kind of the survival mode. So what's a game plan if survival is your first goal financially? Learn our systems cold. That's first and foremost. Is you've got to just digest this material. Denise, you started to watch trainings multiple times, correct?
Yes.
How many times?
3 or 4 times each.
3 or 4 times each. That's what I'm talking about here. Is there's so much information in the training, 15 training sessions, that if I could slow down, I could spend 3 or 4 hours in every training with you. So just add that up. You'd be here for days without going to sleep. There's a lot of information. I recommend you going online and revisiting trainings, 1, 2, and keep moving forward. Watch them several times. It's like this. When sometimes when you read a book and you read it a second time, you miss things. Something just didn't hit you when you read it a second time. Same thing, particularly with learning. So you'll go through the information, and what happens is you're on slide 12. Your mind goes off. Something hits you on slide 12 as you're going through the training. Let's say training number 2, and you're thinking. Then you move on to the next slide. But there's other things there that you kind of just didn't let sink in. Your second view, it'll go deeper. Your third view will go deeper. So the advantage of the online training is you really start to digest this material, and you'll come up with ideas. Take notes. You'll have great ideas. Julie had a fantastic idea, a brainstorm last week to build her business. We communicated on. Things like that will start happening. Number 2, learn and use the dialogues. I sound like a broken record, but you need to know how to speak in the real estate business. Repeat, acknowledge, and ask more questions is in the scripts. So that becomes a way of speaking, right? So I say, Michael, what's the square footage? 3,200 square feet. That's a great size. It sounds like a great home. Why did you decide to sell it? So it is so ingrained to me to repeat, acknowledge, and ask another question. You'll see in our scripts, that's a way of speaking with prospects. When you repeat back to them, you connect. You build rapport. You're repeating their answer back to them. Then you acknowledge, okay, great. Well, that sounds terrific. I'm sorry to hear that. That's the acknowledge part. And then you ask the next question. So dialogues and way of speaking is a fundamental to be a superstar agent. It just becomes natural after you start using it time and time again. Goals, obviously we're very, very goal oriented. Achieve your productivity goals or do as best you can. Some days you're going to be off. Next day you can make it up. This is not a perfect world. Just try to do the best you can to achieve those goals. Strong focus on marketing, prospecting, eliminating distractions. Eliminate negative karma people from your life. Ooh, this is a good one. Boy, is this a good one. When you really go off on your new mission of becoming financially independent and professional, which is a wonderful place to be, you'll start looking at some of your friends or quote-unquote friends going, God, I'm so sick of him complaining or her complaining, or that negative karma. I'm sorry, this is harsh, but you got to cut them out. When you're prospecting at home in your home office, you want to seal yourself away, right? Because you want to hear your clients. You want to have a sign outside if you have a bedroom in your house at your home office, and keep your family out of it when you're on the phone. Obviously, in survival, you want to reduce your expenses and invest in yourself and your business, what you're doing right now, particularly with time. Stability game plan. Number one, achieve your productivity goals weekly. You start having success, you would have started to learn marketing prospecting is priority. You want to maintain that and hit those goals weekly. It should become more fun when you start making money. In stability, obviously you're making money, right? Stephanie just capped last week, and that had nothing to do with Malibu, by the way. She capped with other deals that aren't so glorious, but she's now 100% commission. She closes Malibu, she'll make $375,000 in one sale. So hit your goals weekly. Create a disciplined home budget in Excel. I'm going to give you a budget here in a minute. Work consistently and improve your habits, skills, and systems. Now you're kind of rolling, you've got some momentum. Make sure you're just a consummate professional as a real estate superstar with great habits, skills, and systems. Refine and enhance and increase your marketing and prospecting. Hold business mixers regularly. For those of you that didn't go through that training, business mixers are a piece of cake to do. You can arrange one in a week. Call 3 or 4 people in the local marketplace and meet them for coffee. That's your first business mixer. It's no big deal. And expand them from there. Don't procrastinate. They want to meet other people to build their business. You want to meet other people to get referrals. You're all helping each other. Very easy thing to do. Most agents do not do it. But this is a great way to start building a contact database in your local marketplace. And then bond with all Thrive merchants. Some of those can come to your business mixers. So you've got a calling card with Thrive that nobody else has. So stability game plan, we start to really push it to another level. Continuing on our stability game plan. Deliver or send buyer letters quarterly. You can even do this to reach stability if you're in survival mode. I'm not saying wait to do buyer letters, but some of you are going to be consumed trying to do some first deals into survival mode. But at this point, you've got income coming in. This is one of the first investments you should make, is refining the buyer letter system and either delivering them or bulk mailing them in the way we've trained you to do. Create a working business budget, and you want to look, by this time when you start making some cash, you want to look at your life in 2 ways. You've got your home life and your business life. One should be possibly in Quicken, we'll talk about that in a second. Your business should be in QuickBooks, and you should have a business bank account and a personal bank account. You're a small business now. When you start making money, you're a small business. You should think of it that way. Start accumulating cash reserves. Another way to say this is we get checks ahead. So if you're nailing escrows, consistently, and you're making $25,000 to $35,000 a check, you want to start getting checks ahead, cash reserves. At this point in time, hire a part-time assistant. And I'll tell you the key thing about hiring an assistant towards the end of this training. Celebrate your progress. You're going to start having some fun. You got cash coming in. Celebrate your progress. It's just, part of life. Number 12, become a great presenter, particularly the listing presentation. You need to master that presentation. So when you have that opportunity, you turn it on. It's your Jerry Maguire moment. You're having fun. You're confident. You know you got the best presentation on your laptop, and you've rehearsed it time and time again. You should definitely not do your first listing presentation live. You should be doing them at home. I know it takes time, but you don't want to be doing this at the first time in somebody's living room. So you need to practice it. And then in this stability level, you're paying yourself a salary. So you get checks ahead, you're accumulating cash in your business checking or savings account, and then you're saying, okay, I'm going to take $6,000 out a week or $10,000 out a month or whatever you need to live on, and that's how you run your home business. But your business is building cash. So what you don't want to do is you have a big check, $100,000 closing, you just go blow it. That's what most agents do, right? They buy a new car, they go on vacation, and then they're back in this up and down way. You want to think for the long term. Moving on to the success game plan. Now we're really expanding our marketing and prospecting. We're moving an assistant to full-time, or this could be multiple assistants, and then buyer agents. Now you've got kind of the traditional dominant listing agent structure. You have too many buyer leads to handle, even though you've been trained how to deal with buyers. So you're going to delegate those down to buyer agents. We will work out a commission structure with you. It's a little bit different. So you're earning an override from your buyer agents, right? So you're going to earn from your buyer agents. So now this is basically your dominant listing agent. We're looking at the way they run their business. You're going to expand your presence in the Thrive market. A lot of that legwork can be done through your staff. Have at least one client party per year. For those of you who've been that training, this is a blowout party at a restaurant probably. Create a retirement plan with a financial advisor. Start investing, increase cash reserves, and celebrate. This is where we're going. Self-reliance. Celebrate your success. Life is too short. At this level, you're going to probably start incorporating charity into your life and your business, creating passive income investments, whatever they may be, and obviously hit the bucket list. For those of you who haven't seen this movie, it's called The Bucket List. It was a great movie. Financial organization tips. I would go crazy without online bill pay. Do anybody of you use online bill pay? Yeah, fantastic. All the big banks do it. If you have Quicken, it connects and you just pay everything digitally. It is so much faster. I hardly ever write physical checks, haven't in years. Definitely, if you don't have it, I would definitely recommend getting Quicken for your home, bills. Connect that to your bank and pay all your bills through Quicken. You don't have to write physical checks. It's a huge, huge time saver. Then at the end of the year, I do a Quicken report, sends to my accountant, he does my tax return. Years ago, we had to go through all this nonsense compiling reports. This is the way to run your home life. QuickBooks is Intuit's, the software company Intuit's version for a small business. So it has some other features that are kind of business oriented. You can run Quicken for both in the beginning for your business, your real estate business account. Once you get rolling, you'll probably end up wanting to run this through QuickBooks. Some agents end up forming an LLC.
That's what I was going to ask.
Or a corporation at some point in time. That's down the road in your success game plan. But this is, I think, where you're going to end up being. Is Quicken is going to run your home life, your home financial life. QuickBooks will run your real estate sales business. And I love RoboForms.
It's great.
You use it?
Yeah.
Oh my God,
Time
what a
saver.
lifesaver.
Yeah.
There's a free version, which you get, I think,
started
10.
with that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
everybody does.
Yeah.
10. For those of you who don't know anybody not know what RoboForms is? Okay. RoboForms is a secured system for storing passwords in the cloud that connects to the browsers. I have over 200 RoboForm files personally that have passwords in them because I'm going all over the place, digitally, and I have to remember the password of this, password of that, password of this. With RoboForms, I go to Salesforce, one click, I'm in Salesforce. I don't have to put in any usernames, passwords. So what you do, for example, is in RoboForms, I create a file called Salesforce. I put in my username and my password. It saves it. The stuff is encrypted. I've not seen anything that RoboForms lost people's data. If they did, it would be a disaster.
Yeah.
Right? Now, there's a way that you do a master password that only you remember.
Right.
So there's different levels of security. So you have RoboForms like my Thousand Oaks Library username and password. Who cares? If somebody stole it, big deal. They're going to check out a book, right? I don't need to master password that. But my bank accounts are master passworded. So even though it has my login to Wells Fargo, it's saying, Scott, what's your master password that only I know? So it's another level of security. But what this does, once it's set up, and the professional version is what, $10 or something?
Yeah, it's cheap. Right.
It gives you unlimited passwords. How often do you spend time screwing around with usernames and passwords online?
It even does more. The best part, I think, is that if you have to go fill out something that it could be some
Forms.
online system or something
Forms.
you want to fill out, it could be they ask for your business address, your home address,
You
your
can
this,
store all that stuff. It
everything you
populates
fill out, you hit save form, and then when you go to some other site that you want to fill in, you just hit fill form. It goes, it just
You
fills it all in.
populate.
You
This
don't
is
have
a
to fill anything anymore.
huge time saver.
It rules.
In our digital world.
Yeah.
So these, very simple tools, but obviously you're very busy. You're going to get busier, right? So fast forward, you've got 12 escrows, 3 closings this week, 4 listing presentations scheduled, 14 inspections here and there. As you start to do business, until you start being able to have an assistant and buyer agents, your schedule is going to get really, really busy. These are just minor things that can make your life easier. So I think they're really fundamental in where you guys are going. But never forget that the top 3 tips for the self-employed, we're all self-employed, for financial success as an agent, to solve your cash flow problems, to gain independence is, can anybody guess? Top 3 tips for the self-employed. The number 1 tip is to generate more leads. The number 2 tip is to generate more leads. And the 3rd tip is to generate more leads. You generate leads by getting your contact database to send you referrals. And when you've exhausted those, you start working on bringing C leads in from your Thrive Market and other marketing aspects. You are constantly looking for quality leads that turn into escrows. Without mastering this fundamental truth, you'll suffer emotionally and financially. Guarantee it. You can't get around it. When I go through agent interviews, and some of you may have had this conversation with me before you joined, is I talk to people about 100 leads, contacts to get a listing. This is an outbound work. Some agents come to me and say, Scott, I hear you generate leads. I'd like to just sit there and process leads. Don't come here. While we're going to continue to refine our systems to create leads for our agents, that doesn't relieve you of the responsibility of being a master prospector to generate leads. This is key. So this is the tip for the self-employed, is constantly looking for the great leads. Get organized financially. Your expenses, your debts and liabilities. Even at a low level of financial success, I recommend you have life insurance. For those of you that have kids and don't have it, I think you should, even if it's really small policy, because it's not so much that I want to be preachy here. I have learned it gives people a great feeling to know they've started something to take care of their children or their spouse in the event of their death. Even if it's a $10,000 life insurance policy, it's the beginning of your new life. And if money was no problem, you would do this, right? Absolutely, everybody would. So even if you don't have it, start it small. And get to work and do your calls, notes, and drop-bys. Okay, so in the reference folder in your online resource center, we have an Excel file. This is just basically a glorified Excel worksheet called the Personal Monthly Budget. So it's pretty cool. It's got a lot of detail for all these great categories, and you can just download it to your hard drive, start playing with it, and start filling in your monthly budget. If you already use Quicken, you have a lot of this availability of data already, but this will start to give you an idea of what your survival level is. For those of you who don't know, most real estate agents I've known don't go to this level of understanding of their own personal finances. They just kind of wing it, right? So here's an opportunity to take the spreadsheet and get a little bit more organized with your finances, to get basically a view, a macro view, bird's eye view of where you are personally, financially, what your expenses are. Also in the reference folder is a business P&L forecast. Business P&L forecast. So once you've done your home budget, now we want to look at, okay, I want to hit $250,000 this year. I know I've got to have a telephone. I'm going to buy some personal notes at Target or wherever. I'm going to buy drop-by gifts, etc. These are instrumentals in your marketing systems. And gas for your car, coffees and lunches with contacts. You'll notice this is filled out based on your marketing systems. So now you do a business budget. Only business expenses here. So you've got your home budget and then your agent P&L profit and loss forecast. You'll also notice in here I put in health insurance and auto insurance in your business, because actually those should be considered business expenses. You're a self-employed business person. Health insurance and your auto insurance are part of your business section financially. MLS dues, etc. is in here. Your assistant. For those of you that get to hiring an assistant in the near future, their first priority is to help you generate leads. So the first duties is going to be marketing and prospecting duties to bring leads to you, or to like buyer letters, go buy the drop-by gifts, anything related to your marketing, prospecting, and helping you generate leads. That's their priority. It's not to pick up your dry cleaning, right? You want to have them first focusing on things that bring you business, because if they bring you one more deal a month of what you delegate to them, you're paying for you're paying for them 10 times over of their, you could hire them as a contractor. They don't have to be an employee, pay them by the hour, maybe just 20 hours a week, but have them first think about what can they do to help me generate leads. Action lists for financial systems. Number one is organize your finances and your home office systems. Create a personal budget, create a business budget. Send the remaining notes to those who have attended your business mixer. Keep in mind, from those of you who came in midstream, your business mixer first business mixer should have already happened. If it hasn't, obviously this is a priority to start thinking about a business mixer very soon in your marketplace. Make 2 drop-bys each day to your A plus, and Bs, and your Thrive contacts. Next week, Wednesday at 11 is the training we call Accelerate, and we will go into how to really commit to the business, focusing on the fundamentals. We will review 14 trainings next week, kind of like speed dating. So we will do a massive review for those of you who haven't taken some of the middle trainings. all at once. So we'll go through that really quick to give you a capsulized view. For those of you who haven't been through all those trainings, it might be a little bit of overwhelm, but at least you'll get a kind of a perspective on how the whole system comes together. And then we're going to talk about, as I mentioned before, the superstars in the business and what they're really earning. It'll just blow your mind. So thanks everybody for attending Financial Systems today.